Okay, yesterday we were going through the sugya. How do we know that a man inherits his wife? And we brought quite a few psukim. We brought quite a few psukim just to reiterate, right? We had one pasuk of Cholbas Yereshes Nachlas Matas Bnei Yisrael Echem Mishkas. This one, V'Leisis of Nachla Bnei Mata Mata. We're going to go over these again. Leisis Nachla. A third one, Elazar inheriting. How did he inherit? He to have property without Elazar having the property. Pinchas had the property. Must be that he inherited from his wife. And Skuv, Yar must his wife. We slugged up each one of these, right? Maybe bought it, maybe it's cherim, maybe it's come to teach me two lois assays and assay. So you don't have any raya conclusively that a man goes ahead and inherits his wife. You don't have a source for it conclusively where a man goes ahead and inherits his wife. Okay, so today's share is a continuation of that. So we're on Kuf Yud Beis, Amid Beis. We're 3 lines from the top. Tanya. It says, Besibis haben, Vitanya Besibis habal. We have those psukim that we mentioned, right? Those psukim that we mentioned, that one is discussing the getting married, and as a result of the marriage, you're transferring your ownership from you, the woman, is transferring from her shevet to the husband shevet. And one is speaking about transferring what? When you die, when the woman dies, her son inherits and thus transferred to another shevet. So there's two possibilities of a transfer, either through the husband and through the child. Okay, so now it says Tanya b'sibas haben. We have a pasuk b'sibas haben. So the psukim are going to be the same, guys. The psukim are going to be the same. These psukim I'm going to put it up here, right? This pasuk, leisis of nachlo b'nei mata el mata. We're going to be speaking about the son. The second pasuk, leisis of nachlo mimata lamata acher, is going to be speaking about the husband. So two brises. First pasuk speaking about through the son inheriting the mother from her shevet. The second one speaking about the husband inheriting the wife, and that's the raya. So 2 brises, and each brise is only difference is how you darshan. But they're both the same in the fact that each pasuk, the same pasuk that teaches me Baal in both prices, is the same pasuk and the different pasuk teach me Ben in the same price. So again, look at it quickly. Leisis of Nachla lebnei Yisrael mimata al mata is going to be speaking about the son. Leisis of Nachla mimata al mata acher is going to be speaking about what? About the husband, as we see right now. Leisis of Nachla bnei Yisrael mimata al mata b'sibas haben akosim medaber. The second pasuk is speaking about what? Excuse me, the first pasuk, Mimata el Mata, is speaking about the son. You know, transferring through the son. Maybe it's speaking about transferring through the husband. How do you know this pasuk that I'm showing you on the screen? Is speaking about the son. Maybe it's speaking about the husband. So says the Gemara, no, you can't say that. When it says pasuk number 2, if this pasuk number 2 is speaking about the transference through the husband, obviously this one must be speaking about the transference through what? The son. That you're losing the nachla based upon what? Either through your husband inheriting you or your son inheriting you. So in this second pasuk is speaking about the husband. Obviously the first one is speaking about the son. Hamani Makayim Leisis of Nachla L'Bnei Yisrael, Yimate El Mate, the pasuk number 1, is Besibas Haben Akosim Medaber. Okay, that's the first brisa. The second brisa is going to say the same thing, but it's going to go ahead and just forward it in a different way. And we'll see the Rashbam in a second. Tanya Idach, a second brisa. Leisis of Nachla Mimate L'Mate, Echa Besibas Habal Akosim Medaber. That pasuk of Leisis of Nachla Mimate L'Mate is speaking about Besibas Habal. So in other words, in the first brisa, we spoke about the ben. The ben took priority, and then we said, well, the second one is speaking about what? About the husband. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to say the second pasuk speaking about the husband. So the difference is what's your starting point? In the first brisa, your starting point was the son, and the inference was the husband. The second brisa is starting with the husband, and the inference being the son. Yes, Mendy.
The son is from a different marriage.
No. Her son, she's from a different Shevet, right?
Yeah, but
So very good. That's exactly what happens. The son goes after the father. The mother's from a different Shevet. So if you're going to marry the son, it's going to transfer over, right? Yeah, it's going to transfer over, right? Correct. Good. Very good. Nope. No problem. So now, Leisisam Nachli Matal Mata, Echa Besibis Habala Custom Medaber, Ata Oime Besibis Habala, Enel Besibis Haben, Kishuoy Me Pasuk number 1, Leisiba Nachla Bnei Yisrael Mimata El Mata, Harisibis Haben Oma, Hamani Mekayim Leisisam Nachli Mimata El Mata Acher, the second Pasuk, Besibis Habala Custom Medaber. Okay, let's see the Rashbam over here. You're doing fine, Mendy. Tanya, the Leitis of Nachla Mimata El Mata goes through the whole now. Umashmar Darsh in the first in line. The difference is not halachically. The difference is the implication of how you arrived at it. But again, what's your starting point? Is your starting point son or your starting point Baal? But there's no question that it ends up the same place. Each pasuk is going on this. On the pasuk 1 is going on the son, and pasuk 2 is going on the Baal. That's the masmar g'vidayu. Ton of the brisa kamaisa, the ton of the first brisa, pshit delay dekra Basra is pashit that the latter pasuk. The Hainami Mata Lamata Acher, Besibis Habal Mairi, Kidim Farish the Kamei, Midachsiv Bay Acher, because it says Acher. Uvihilkach Muki Likama Besibis Haben. Therefore, he knew that the first one is speaking about the son. The Trey Kroy Besibis Habal Lamali. You wouldn't need 2 psukim to tell me that the transfer wad is from the husband. So obviously, if one is telling me the transfer of the husband, the other one's speaking about the transfer of the son. The Svira Leila Haitana, Kidamina Ba'alma, the Chalhecha Dik Lemidrash Dashinon. Anytime you can possibly darshan and not have 2 lavim, Blemukmi Balavi Yisera. So, guys, what he's bothered is like this. Yesterday, we went ahead and we said, these psukim, you have no mashmois. Maybe, guys, remember we did this. This is the assay. You mevatel an assay by marrying out. This is a lav, and this is a lav, correct? So, if the Rashbam is bothered by a question, how do you know it's teaching me the transfer of the son and the transfer of the father both? Maybe it's speaking of the transfer of the son, and you're over on 2 lavim, but you don't know the transfer of the husband at all, right? This is a lav and this is a lav, but they're both speaking about the son. This is the way we slugged up yesterday's daf. Again, the aim, the main idea, the aim in the classroom is, how do you know a father, a son, a husband inherits a wife? So we wanted to bring these psukim in, but yesterday we said, 1 second, there is no pasuk. One's an assay, 2 is a lois assay. You don't have a source. I Lazar in school, but we said yesterday, maybe they bought it, maybe fell a chayrim. We had other ways to go ahead and say it doesn't exist that a husband can inherit a wife. You with me? So guys, so watch. Rashbam is bothered. What happened to yesterday's Gemara? Now you're telling me unequivocally, these psukim, one is about the son and one is about the husband. No problem whatsoever. Why not? Why isn't it a problem? Why isn't it both 2 lavim? Guys, you with me? Okay, so Rashbam is bothered by that. So guys, watch. This Tana holds Hidaminam Ba'alma. The Cholhecha Deikal Midrash, where you possibly can darshan the psukim, darshinon, will darshan them. One for the husband and one for the son. And we're not going to say there's 2 lavim by the son if you go ahead and marry. Okay, so that's the first shot. Now, what about the latter Tana? The Basra of the second brisa, the Tana of the second brisa, the acher. He doesn't hold, guys, just look at the board for a second. That word acher is going to darshan. He doesn't hold of that word acher, right? Umuk misvara lekra kama besibas haben the korv leitvei. He says this pasuk is speaking about the son because the son is closer than the father. Mibal mitoich kache yas lekra tinyana the sibas habal keinir beinai veika says the Rashbam. That's the ikab shot. So guys, 2 psukim 1 and 2. Guys, eye contact. 2 psukim 1 and 2. Pasuk 1, everyone holds ben. Pasuk 2, everyone holds what? Everyone holds husband. The question is how you arrive at that. So first of all, let's get off the board yesterday's daf. They hold, if you can darshan something, we're not going to go ahead and say 2 lavim, right? That's out. Now, according to the first Mandi Amar, he says the word acher means husband. So once this means husband, al karchak, the first pasuk means ben. The second one does not hold of ben acher. He holds that what? We go after kurva. We go after closeness. And who's the closest person? The closest person is the son. The son is a blood relative. A husband's not a blood relative. A husband's not a blood relative. It's very interesting, guys. The way a husband, but maybe we'll see twice a little bit in a second. Okay, so now we're all set up. We're all set up, right? We're set up. The first pasuk speaking about Ben, second one speaking about husband, and they just arrived at a different place. The first brisa was a given husband because it says acher. Therefore, through the process of elimination, the first pasuk is Ben. The second one, no. The first pasuk is mashma, the closest thing. He doesn't learn acher. He starts from the Ben and not the acher. No, the only way, the difference between them is what was your starting point? According to the first brisa, the starting point was Baal. According to the second brisa, the starting point was Ben. Once I establish Baal, then Ben is extra. Once I establish Ben, then Baal is extra. But the pasuk are all, that's the only difference between the two. A lot of talking to arrive at a very concise spot. Okay. Anyway, says the Gemara now. Okay, the kuli alma miha, everyone holds mimata lamata acher. The second pasuk is besibas habalakas medaber. Right, everyone holds that second pasuk is speaking about the husband. That you can't marry into another family because you're going to transfer your ownership of your property to the husband, and that's the raya. How we got into this, that a husband is yoirish his wife. Right? That's the whole reason we got into this. Now, my mashma, how is it mashma that second pasuk is speaking about the husband? And now we're going to dash in the word acher. Simin Amar, this is very interesting. Simin Amar, if you look at the Masoret Hashas Aleph, Simin, Yeshlem Ashu Shem Amoira. There are those who say it's the name of an Amoira. Simin. I see the blog already.
Simon.
The blog already working. What?
Simon. Simon says.
Simon? Okay, Simon. Okay, anyway. Amar Rabba Barav Shila, Amakra, Ish. Now, if you look, I wrote, you know what, I didn't write it. I'm sorry, I didn't bring you the whole pasuk. Okay, if the pasuk, if you have psukim on the side in your Gemara, the Oskal Gemaras might have it. If you look at the pasuk number 1, here's the first pasuk. Leisisav nachlu b'nei Yisrael mimata el mata, ki beish b'nachlas mata avoisav yidbeku b'nei Yisrael. Second pasuk. Leisisav nachlu mimata lamata acher, ki ish b'nachlasoi yidbeku matai. So in both psukim it says ish, and both psukim it says what? Yidbeku. Good? In both psukim it says that. We are going to get this pasuk acher to mean speaking about the husband. Right? We want this pasuk to be speaking about the husband. So that's what the Gemara does right now. Says the Gemara, everyone holds that this pasuk is speaking about the husband. So says the Gemara, how do you know that? Amakra ish. The pasuk says what? Ish. And ish is mashma, the man. Mashma, her husband. So the Gemara answers, if you're telling me ish over here, this pasuk also says ish. Correct? So if you're going to tell me ish means husband here, then it means husband here too. Next, says, therefore, Elo Amar of Nachman by Yitzchak, Amakra Yidbeku, Lashon of Davak Be'ishtoi, Al Ken Yazavishes of Avimah, Davak Be'ishtoi, this week's Parsha, right? Parsha, next week's Parsha. So it says, so therefore must be speaking about what? Marriage. It says over here, Yidbeku also over here. It says both places, it says Yidbeku, in both places. So again, if you're going on playing word games, right, it doesn't really help us much, because each pasuk has the same thing as the other pasuk. El Amarava Amakra. This pasuk says Yidbeku Matais. This one says Yidbeku Bnei Yisrael, and this one says Yidbeku Matais. Okay, now what is that? What is Yidbeku Matais? Why is that mashma more? So it says Yidbeku Matais Bnei Yisrael. And the first pasuk just says Yidbeku Bnei Yisrael. Now it says the veikos of matos shayches dafka bebal. The matos meaning the son is only a result of the father. So Yidbeku Ish ki ish benachzos yidbeku matos, meaning the husband who is from that shevet yidbeku. So you're going to cling to the husband from that shevet. So therefore, we know this pasuk is speaking about what? Is speaking about the husband. Rav Ashi Amakra mimata lamaka acher. You go the pasuk that says mimata el mata, and it says what? It says acher, right? And what? And a baal is not acher. Uben lav achehu. So this pasuk says, in the second pasuk it says acher. Pasuk Rishon just says mata al mata, and a son is not an acher. A son is not considered an acher. Let's see the Rashbam here. Rav Ashi, right before he gets wide, two lines up. Right before it gets very, very, very wide, two lines up. Rav Ashi hochi mashmakra leisisav nachla mimata ha'isha lemata acher. You should not go ahead and have the mata of a woman go to the mata of another. She yershenu baila imtinas eloi, that the husband will inherit her if she marries him. Shu acher ligaba, because he's an other vis-a-vis the woman. They're not a blood relative. Avol meiseves hanachla al yedei bina sheyersha, if the nachla gets transferred through her death and the husband and her son inheriting her, eno acher mamish ligaba, the yoirish karei de imehu. A yoirish is considered what? The knee of the mother is considered part of the. So guys, that's what we meant. We said before the word acher, guys. That's what I meant before the acher. So it's geschmack. You know the first part, this pasuk, is speaking about the husband, because it says you get married and it's go to an acher. A husband's an acher. But this one says mata mata b'nei Yisrael. It's not speaking about an acher, because the son is not an acher. So thus the first pasuk is speaking about a ben, and the second pasuk is speaking about what? Baal. So if you just woke up and share, all you have to know is there's two psukim. First pasuk speaking about a son inheriting, and the second pasuk speaking about what? A pasuk speaking about what? A ben inheriting. Now, we had two other psukim that we dashed yesterday. Amar Rav Avu Amar Rabbi Yochanan Amar Rav Yanai Amar Rabbi Umat ba Mishmein Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha Minayin lebal shein not lebaroi kibem muchzik. Okay, now let's say a man, when it comes to Yerusha, a son inherits futures as well as he inherits what the father is holding on to b'shas misa. A bechor does not get beroi. So this guys, it's called muchzik, what he's like hazaka, what he's machzik in, and then there's roi, what futures can come. Good. So a son inherits kiroi kibemuchzik, no difference. A husband inherits from his wife only muchzik, not roi. So if let's say a woman gets married, she has a father dies, she inherits a father, husband inherits her. She's muchzik in that at the time of her death. What happens if she dies and then her father dies? The husband won't get that. The son will, but the husband won't. The difference between the ben is yorish kibben muchzik, but a husband not. So if she would predecease any future inheritance, the husband won't get that. He'll only get what she has b'shas of death. So the Gemara wants to know, what's the source for that? What's the source? Amar Rabbi Amar Yochanan, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon Kar Minayin lebal she'ein noitel beroi kibben muchzik. He's not like a son. He'll only get what she's machzik in the time of her death, but not roi. Shenemar. It says useguv hoyled es yair, and seguv he fathered yair. By Hiloi esem sholish arim ba'aretz hagilad, and Yair had 23 cities in the land of Gilad. Now, minayin le Yair shalei hoyel l'eskuv. How did he have that? With not how did he have that? And Seguv did not have that. Ela Malamed shenasa Seguv isha. Seguv married a woman, umesa, and the woman died. B'chaye Marisha, in the lifetime of her inheritors, in the lifetimes of what her father. So she died in the lifetime of her father. Umesu, and then they died, Marisheha, right? V'yirsha Yair. And we said that who got it? Yair got it, not Skuv. So again, how is it possible for Yair to have something that didn't belong to his father? It's because what he got from his mother. He got it from his mother. the mother predeceased her the one she was going to inherit from, the Marishaha. Since she predeceased him, that property became roy vis-a-vis skuv. Memela, when the Zayda died, Yara Zayda died, his maternal grandfather died. That property skipped skuv because it was roy and went to him. That's a raya. For Oimer, a second pasuk. Ve'Elazar ben Aaron Mace. Right. We had the whole pasuk. We have a pasuk here. It's Ve'Elazar ben Aaron Mace. V'yikbru es oisai begivas Pinchas benoi. Elazar ben Aaron died, and he's buried in the giva, in the hill of Pinchas, his son, and it was in the Har Ephraim, guys. It was in Har Ephraim. So the question is, how is it possible for Pinchas to have something that didn't belong to Elazar? What are we going to say, right? That Elazar married a woman, and that woman predeceased her father. Father died, and now went directly to Pinchas, jumped over what? Elazar. Elazar ben Aaron minayin lePinchas shleihoyle leElazar melamid shenasa Elazar isha. He married a woman. Umesa b'chayim marisheha, and she died in the lifetime of those who could bequeath to her. Umesu marisheha, and then they died. V'yarsha Pinchas, and Pinchas inherited her. Umay v'oimer, why bring me two psukim? You proved it from Skuv. Why are you bringing me a raya from Pinchas? V'chitema Yair, the having nasiv Issasa Umesa, maybe Yair had a wife and she died, and therefore he was inheriting his wife and not his mother. Maybe it, why Elazar didn't have it, because it fell to him through Cherem. It says Pinchas Benoi. Why are you stressing Benoi? Nachla Roy Loi. It was Nachla that was Roy for him. However, V'yirsha Benoi. It was a Nachla, guys, that was Roy for Elazar. It was Roy for Elazar because had his wife outlived her father, it would have gone to Elazar. Had his wife outlived the father, then it would have been muhsik. What happened was, now it was right to him, but it never got to him. Why? Because he, the son, Pinchas, inherits muhsik, and he doesn't, and he doesn't. That's the raya. Okay, let's see the bottom Taisus. He says the Yisayid, guys. Let's see the bottom Taisus. He says the Yisayid. Mesa b'chayim marishaha, the Yirish Yair, Vim Taimar. The ben Yarish beroi nichse imoy ubal eina Yarish minolon the bal koidem leben. Now you're telling me, fellas, guys outside, who's stronger when it comes to? Would you have to go upstairs? Yeah, go straight through those doors and go upstairs. Yeah, guys outside, guys, listen to this. Who has a stronger kinyan in the mother, the wife, the son, or the husband? Right. We're saying son, right? Why are we saying son? Because the son gets what? Biroi kibimuchsa, correct? If the wife dies, who gets first, the father or the son? The father. That's the kasha. Guys, you hear? The father will get before the son in muchsik. But why? If the son is more powerful, that he is koina biroi, why does the father get b'muchsik ahead of the son? You hear the kasha? It says bottom Taisus. Mesa b'chayim hashel b'yisha. Then Taimar. The ben yorish biroi nichse imai ubal ein yorish minolan the bal koidim leben. If that's the case, why would the husband take precedent in muchsik over the son? Great kasha. Listen to you say this to Keteretz, guys. V'yesh leimar kiven she'abal ein yorish machmas kurva. That the Baal inherits his wife is not the same as the son inheriting the mother. The Baal inherits not because what? He's close to the wife. After all, they're not the same blood. Elamach Sheris. He's because of a relationship. Shein chashuvim kibasar echad. They're considered one. Al ken yaza vishes ava ve'imoy v'davak be'ishloi v'hoyul basar echad. So the marriage creates that chizuk. In Cain, kimoshu koydin l'shakroivim kachu koydin leben. The mali high umali high. In other words, when the when he inherits, whatever the wife has is because they're the same. But once it's not roy to him, right? It's not roy to him, then it goes through machmas korva, and the son is closer. So it's important to point out from Taisus, we have a parsha of nachla, of inheritance, but it's not the same mechanism. It doesn't work the same. That a husband inherits his wife is because he married her, but that's only what is in his possession. A son inherits the mother because he's a piece of the mother. Because it's kurva, it's a relationship, it's closer. Mashen Kane, the husband, is because of the marriage, and the marriage makes them one. But a son is one. He's part of the mother. So therefore, it's not comparable. It's not comparable. It's true that the husband gets first dibs. Why? Why does he get first dibs? Because he is the wife. Guys, the husband is the wife. So if she's holding on to something, who does it belong to? Him. But what happens if he's not holding on to something? What happens if he's not muhsik? So you can't say that what? Oh, he should get the roy. Why should he get the roy? He's no longer married to her. But the son is an extension of the mother. Memela, he will get in roy kibim muhsik. It's a great lumbus. When she's muhsik, so they're basarecha, they're one. So memela, he has it already. But that provided that she has it. But if she doesn't have it, you hear, guys, you hear. If she doesn't have it, you can't give it to him because she has no rights anymore. The marriage is finished when she dies. The son is kurva. It's a different thing. Baruch, you have a question? I thought. Oh, you just okay. Good, you guys. You good? You hear that? It's a good taste to know. Make a little mark to it. It's a very, very nice taste to know. The chilik and the svara is a great svara to make me mechalik between. Yeah, man, it's a great svara to mechalik between the two. Okay, it says ubenei achos. Okay, let's go benei achos. We have a brother and a sister, and the sons of the brother, the nephews of the woman, they will inherit what? The uncle, but it doesn't go back. If they die, it doesn't go back what to it. So Neichlin umatchilin. So you have, let's say Yaakov has two children, Ruvain and Dinah. Okay, and let's say Dinah has two sons, Harry and Fred. Okay, Harry and Fred. So Harry and Fred are the nephews of Ruvain. So Neichlin, they would inherit Ruvain, the ein manchilin, but they would not go ahead and give over back to Ruvain. Right? They would not give back to Ruvain. So they inherit Ruvain, but the svara being Dinah, a brother does not inherit a sister. Who inherits the woman? Who inherits her? Her sons or her family, but not her brother. So therefore, vis-a-vis them inheriting him, they do inherit him. And the nephews, even though they come from the mother's side, they will inherit Neichlin. But Manchilin, going back the other way, they don't go. So that's the lashon. L'may hilchasa, you're telling me the sons of the sister, but not the daughters of the sister. The sons of the sister, but not the daughters of the sister. Now, let's say Fred and Harry, right? They had a sister, Sally. Guys, so Fred, Harry, and Sally are all the nephews of Reuven. Good? So Fred inherits, Harry inherits, and Sally also inherits. So what does it mean when it says b'nei achos, the sons of the sister, but not the b'nois achos? What does that mean? L'may hilchasa. And now it can't be that you don't inherit. Sally's going to inherit the same way as Fred and Harry. Rav Sheshes l'kadein le'inyan kadima. That what? That Fred and Harry will inherit before Sally. They'll inherit before Sally. Tana Reb Shmuel bar Reb Yitzchak kamed Rav Huna v'yaresh. Here's the reason. It says v'yaresh makish Yerusha shniya v'Yerusha rishayna. The second level, we makish the second level to the first level. Now, the first level is Ruvain and Dina getting from Yaakov. The second level is what? Is Fred, Harry, and Sally getting from Dina. That's the second level. So we make a hekesh between the Yerusha of the second to the Yerusha of the first. My Yerusha Rishayna. Just like when Yaakov was Nifta, and he left over Ruvain and Dina, Ruvain ben Koiden Labas, Ruvain will come before Dina. Guys, the first level. Ruvain's going to come before Dina. Af Yerusha Shniya. So to second level. Fred and Harry will come before Sally. Ben Koiden Labas. Okay, that's how you know that halacha, that they come first. That there's no difference, the first and the second, that there's just like the first level of Ben is Koiden to the Bas, so to the second level. Tani Rabba Barchina Kamei the Rav Nachman. The pasuk says, "V'hoya b'yoim has hanchilu es bonov." Now the word bayoim is extra. It could have said you didn't have to say the word bayoim. What is bayoim teaching me? Bayoim atamapel nachlois v'ein atamapel nachlos b'layla. It's mashma that, again, literally, that you only inherit at night, but in the morning, but in the day, but you don't inherit at night. Fred the Gemara, Elamiata, the shacha b'yamama. Only if a guy dies during the day, who the yarsele b'nei, his children will inherit him. Avaman the shacha b'layla la yarsele b'nei. Someone dies at night, his children aren't going to inherit him. How's that possible? That can't be what it means. It says Dilma din nachlis ka'amrit. Maybe you're telling me the din of the nachla. You're telling me the din of the nachla. Tanya, it says v'hoysel lebnei Yisrael lechukas mishpat. It says that it should be to bnei Yisrael chuka u'mishpat. When it says lashon mishpat, oira, it establishes kol parsha kula liyos din. That this is the way the Rashbam learns, that the din of chalukah of being chalukah as a din of din. Now a din can only be judged during the nighttime, not the day, not the daytime, not the nighttime. So just like, right, therefore, just like the daytime, just like din is during the daytime, so too the act of chalukah has to be during the daytime. Now, guys, I could have thought of chalukah as it's just, basically it's not a din. Basically, you're divvying it up. You do this, you take this, you're divvying up something. Kemash Malon has the din of a din. Once it has the din of a din, as we're going to see in Masechtas Sanhedrin, you can only go ahead and judge during the daytime, during the daytime, as it says right now. Uchad Rav Yehuda, Dam Rav Yehuda, Shloisha shenichnasu levakas achayla. There's a person who's sick, and 3 people go in, right? And this person is telling him, now this is not a shchiv meirah, it's not a shchiv meirah, but he's telling them what he wants to do with his property. So there's 2 possibilities. There are 3 of them now. So Ratsu, if these 3 people want to be Eidim, then Koisvin, they can write down his words and sign, like an aid. Or Ratsu, since there are 3 people, Aisadin, and they can write a psak, Zayidas. In other words, it can either be testimony or it can be a final psak. So, because there are 3. Shnayim, however, it's only 2 people. If it's only 2 people that come in, then Koisvin, they could be Eidim, but they can't do a din. Vam Rav Chisda, Lo Shanu, that if they want to go ahead, write it as a din, as Dayanim, Ella when Biyoim. Only if they enter during the day. Because again, if they're Dayanis, they got to be judged during the day. Avol Belayla, if they enter to visit this guy at night, Afilu Shloisha Koisvin, Vein Oisin Din. 3 of them, they can only go ahead and write, meaning they can only be Eidim, but they can't go ahead and give a psak din because it's nighttime. My timer, they're Eidim. And even the next day, but we'll see, the Ein Eid Nasadayan, right? They have a loch of Eidim, and the testimony that they said at night, right? They can't use the next day because an Eid can't become a Dayan. Eid Nasadayan. Where we spoke, there's a Tosfos in Chaf Aleph Amid Beis in Masechta Ksubis, who says the reason why Einei Dasadayan is because it says V'omdu Shnei Anoshim Lefnei Elihim, and the 2 Anoshim will stand in front of the Dayan. So you need physically that the aid has to be in front of the Dayan. So Mamela, you can't be both. That's the simple pshat. The more tifa pshat is that in order for Eidis to be fulfilled, we say that in the Eidis Shatayachal Azima, In other words, Adis is very, very powerful. If you say a person, you can kill somebody and say, this person killed two people. So we said, Imanu Yisem, Misech Demakis. How do you know you were with us? In other words, Adis has to have the fear that they possibly can go ahead and be Muslim, another set of Adim. If you're a Dayan, you're not going to accept Adis, won't be Makabal Adis Azama. So Memela, that's another reason Aid that's the Dayan. Either because of the physicality of not being able to stand, or that they're not going to accept the Dayan won't accept Adis because he doesn't want to go ahead and put himself in a position of Chas v'Shalom being made an Eid Zoma. So therefore, that's another reason Aid that's a Dayan. Amalei Einachinami. So he said. So Rabbi Barachina said to Einachinami that what? That was my kavana. My kavana was that if you are an aid, you won't be able to write aid. You won't be able the next day to go ahead and testify.